Joe here with Mark from THQ working on Warhammer 40K, the MMO. Now, it's very early and there's not a whole lot that he can talk about, but let's give it a shot anyway, because I know a lot of you out there are fans of the tabletop game just like me. So let's ask him some questions. Now, in the MMO, basically, the question I get a lot is how exactly will combat work? Is this a third person? Is this first person? Is it going to be like a... How's that going to work?
Well, we're not really talking about very many specifics about combat yet. There it is. Although there are certain things you can probably extrapolate from watching the trailer. But that's not...
I saw the trailer, and to me, it looks like third person, but...
I'll leave it at that for now. I'll leave it at that for now. Yeah, no, there will be a lot more announcements coming up. We're going to be at Gamescom in August, and our community site is going live within the next month. So there will be a lot of announcements forthcoming. But for now, our main goal was to get the game out there, show people the game's alive and well. We're doing well. We're excited to be working on it, and we're excited to be finally showing it.
Can you tell us about anything about the races in the game? Like, we saw a few races in the trailer, obviously. Will all of the races that are currently in 40K from Game Workshop be in the MMO? It wouldn't be an MMO without it.
Well, certainly, you know, some variety is good for an MMO. Races is another thing that I'm not really allowed to talk about specifics yet.
I got him early. Don't look. You know, other guys we can beat up on, but this is very early in development.
And
come on, you gotta give me something. Give me a list of the ones.
I can't give you a list, but I can tell you, again, the trailer is probably the biggest clue.
So because they're not going to answer this question for us, let me try to answer the question for you. Now this is, again, is just speculation, but here are my thoughts. Alright, so everybody at Vigil Games has been instructed not to tell us what races are in the game, at least not right now. They don't want to show all of their cards yet, I understand, but from Mark, I can gather the races in the trailer, which, if you've seen the trailer, looks like we got Chaos, we got Space Marines, we got Orcs, and we've got Imperial Guard. Then, from the game trailer's interview with Joe, I know that we also have Eldar, because he mentioned Eldar are kind of like elves in space. Beyond that, we've got 5 races right there, but beyond that, I don't know any further. Whether those humans, the Imperial Guard and the Space Marines, are going to count as Imperium and then also give us, you know, these battle sisters and things like that. We're just not sure yet. So you can count on 5 for right now, but just pretty much if it's not every single race, we're talking Tyranids, or however you pronounce it, that's what I've always called them, Tyranids, Necrons. If we don't get every single race, you can count me disappointed. And from a business standpoint, I think that THQ is probably going to give us maybe 5 or 6 out of the box, and then do an expansion, sort of like what STO has done with Federation Klingons only. And you see some other races kind of in the background and things. That's kind of how it's going to be. Not confirmed, that's just my speculation, but there you have it, and let's get to the rest of the interview.
You'll see in there Space Marines, you'll see in there other Imperium types, you'll see Orcs, and so those are the things that are certainly visible so far.
Okay, guilds, can I play different chapters as a Space Marine?
That hasn't really been solidified yet. Certainly we'll be supporting guilds. Guilds are like really a cornerstone to any social game. So we absolutely are going to want to support guilds. But as far as being able to set up your own chapter or play as other, different chapters that are already in the fiction, we're not so sure about that yet.
Have you guys read a lot about the history of the game? Have you bought a bunch of codex and poured over them hours and hours and reading all that material? Can you tell me a little bit about the Warhammer Universe and how you guys have absorbed it, if any at all?
Well, first of all, I should tell you that we have a ton of big-time 40,000 fans, Warhammer 40,000 fans at Vigil. Tons of us have been playing it for years, and we all have tons of friends who've been playing it for years, all the way up to the top of our company, which is David Adams, our general manager. He's a huge fan of Warhammer 40,000 and has been all of his life. And so when the opportunity at THQ arose to work on an MMO, he was all over that, and he was so excited to get that project for Vigil, and we were all excited to have the opportunity. So that being said, of course, we have libraries of all the codexes and all the rule books, and
pretty much everything ever written.
Well, Games Workshop has been very supportive in that regard, and so yes, we've read probably most, if not all, of the novels. We've got all the codexes. We go through that stuff regularly and religiously. So I think Warhammer 40,000 fans should expect an authentic Warhammer 40,000 experience, and we're doing our best to do justice to the IP.
An authentic Warhammer 40,000 experience. That plays into a question I get a lot, and this will be the last question.
All right.
Basically, a lot of the fans are worried that you're going to group some of the races together artificially into different factions, like the Eldar are friendly with the Orcs. Well, that probably will never happen. Come on, don't screw that up. But you know what I mean? Like artificial factions, when really in the Warhammer 40K, unless they're a part of the same side, there's really no love between any of these guys. It's all out war. In the future, there's nothing but war. Are there going to be artificial alliances with this game?
Well, factions is another thing that we're not really talking specifics yet, but I can tell you this. We're working very closely with Games Workshop on that.
Trick. Tell me something about the game.
You got to work on that Jedi mind trick a little bit, I think.
Yeah.
But we're working very closely with Games Workshop on all of these issues. So you can rest assured that we're not going to come up with some strange bend to the Warhammer 40,000 fiction that Games Workshop is going to be like, what are you guys doing? You know, so
they have oversight of everything that you do.
Absolutely do, and anything that we do fictionally or really any creative decisions we make on the game are done with the cooperation and approval of Games Workshop. So anything we do with the story, with the factions, with the lore, with the game in general, it'll all be done under the watchful eye of Games Workshop and with their blessing.
All right, one last question. I lied earlier, okay? So combat, is it going to be like charging up and then an animation, or will it be more like actual skill, like aiming?
Well, again, combat mechanics are something I can't really talk too much about.
Skill play a role as much as watching animations play out?
I think you'll have to wait and see.
All right, that's it for you. The cryptic Mark from Warhammer 40,000 MMO. Dude, I am so happy that y'all aren't doing a lot of interviews for this game, and I really appreciate you taking the time to talk with us. And I'll see you guys on the next Angry Joe Show.